So we got to see some more Justin Fields. He's instantly become one of the most intriguing prospects. I'm very looking forward to seeing how he does with his career, and I thought he was good. I thought there was a lot he did very well, particularly his elusiveness, his mobility, all of that stuff very good. We got to see some good throws. One thing that I'm blown away by is how much it seems like Justin Fields 100% should be sacked and just isn't sacked. It's remarkable to me. Some criticisms. I have some criticisms, and to me, I want to talk about the negatives as well, because those are the more interesting things for me. How is he improving on what some of the issues were? Every quarterback coming into this draft has some issues, and I want to just talk about how he's improved on those. People tend to not like when I talk about the negative aspects of their favorite quarterback. You know, people want to believe what they want to believe sometimes, especially in the preseason. So I want to be very clear. I thought he was good in this game. I did not think it was perfect. I thought that there were some issues. We'll start off with the positives, and then we'll get over to some negatives. All right, let's start things off with this play. We're going to start off with the positives. This play was... well, I mean, it was really good, and plays like these were just awesome when he uses his legs to his advantage. So this is zone coverage that they're going up against, and you see the route on the screen that Fields is going to be looking towards. I'm not actually sure if that's even the route, because it's going to be cut off before we actually get to see where the route ends, but it's something like that. And the important thing isn't necessarily the route, but just to know that that's where Fields is going to look towards, because it's not going to get open. Look, right when this play starts, Fields looks to his left. That is not open, so he immediately starts scrambling around, gets outside the pocket, but I like how he puts his head back upfield. He's still looking to throw, and we saw that in the first preseason game. He's not just going to say, okay, first read isn't open, play over. He's great at sort of making stuff happen when there's nothing available so far in these preseason games, and this is a great example of it, because even when something isn't open downfield, watch what he's now going to do. As you see, he's able to elude a defender who had his hand up and pick up some yards on that play. So again, he's just creating stuff that a Mac Jones isn't able to create, and that no quarterback in this draft really is able to create with his legs. So he has that extra aspect to his game, which could really come in handy given the fact that, the Bears, they have some talent on offense, but they also could have some things they need to improve on. So having someone like Fields who can make something happen out of nothing is pretty good. There was also this play, which I thought was another great example of just what Fields brings with his legs, because the fact that he can do something like this it means so much. And this is a great example because you see the Buffalo edge rusher, and what's going to be crucial about this is the fact that he isn't going to be able to keep containment right here. Like, look, as you see, he's kind of going closer to the inside, and the reality is, it almost feels like when you're going up against Justin Fields, you kind of you can't just pass rush. You almost have to run defend, because if you allow Fields to get to the outside, it's just going to be trouble, especially in a man coverage situation. And look, Fields is going to, in fact, get to the outside, scrambles out, and picks up a first down. Again, and the fact that he can do stuff like that, it's not just the yards that he's getting, but it also now means that you can't pass rush the way you want to. It gives him more time to throw the ball. It makes passing easier when you can run the way that he can run. And now to talk about this play, we saw some legit good throws, which I didn't think we saw a ton of great passing in the first preseason game. A lot of it was, using his legs to set stuff up more so than just standing in the pocket and throwing. He did have that one wide open touchdown pass in preseason game 1. Had a very similar play in this game as well. Those are kind of scheme stuff, though. This was a legit just good throw from Justin Fields. The play it's a very simple play, go route against cover 1. This is something you'll see a lot. It's man coverage, one-on-one matchup. Take a chance. It makes sense. It's a good decision by Fields. And look, Justin takes the snap. You're going to see that, first off, the throw, it just looks beautiful. I mean, even the biggest Justin Fields haters, which some could argue I am one of, still admits it's a beautiful throw. Just the way it looks is incredible. And there's not much separation right here, but still watch the throw. It's perfect, and there wasn't enough separation for the receiver to get open. There wasn't, so that was never really going to be a completion, but it was just a tremendous throw. And again, for someone who I feel like his deep ball accuracy, it's sometimes had some issues in college. So far in the NFL, this one, very good. Okay, I do want to talk about some negatives. Listen, there were some negatives. This was not a perfect game. I do want to be able to talk about them because there's some plays that I have to say, this was clearly not a good play. This one is an example of this. It's going to be a designed rollout to the offense's right, and I should say it's okay. He's a young player. He's learning, and he's going to get better. But as of right now, he does have stuff he needs to learn. This is a great example of something he needs to learn. Watch what's going to happen on this play. So Fields takes a snap. It's a rollout. He goes towards the top of the screen, but there's pressure, right? So he's under pressure. You can kind of see why he wants to make this throw. There's maybe a window where you can make it work. You sort of throw it, but the reality is he should not make this throw because he would have to have his feet planted to really get it where he wants for it to be a completion. And even if it is a completion, it's not going for many yards. There's defenders right in the area. On top of this, there's just too big of a risk with all the other Buffalo players around him. This is an obvious throw the ball away, live to see another down play. One of Fields' biggest issues in college was he played a bit too much hero ball, and there would be times when he would make decisions he shouldn't have made, and I do fear that in the NFL, it'll probably come back to bite him a little bit more, playing against better defenders, although the flip side is he has better teammates, but still, I would say it's more likely to be a bad thing than a good thing. Watch him just, completely off balance, throw one, and he didn't throw that away. He threw that as a catchable ball. Just a mistake, one he shouldn't have made. Again, it's fine. It's not a big deal, but it was a mistake, and it's something he does have to clean up out of his game. Like, there was also this one, which I'm sure some people are going to blame the offensive line for, but this was entirely Justin Fields' fault, and it's something I actually talked a lot about in the pre-draft evaluation of something he really struggled with, and I would like to see him be improving at this kind of stuff. What's going to happen on this play is it's a cover one blitz for Buffalo, so they're sending 5 here, and the offense is blocking towards Fields' left. So, offensive line is blocking towards Fields' left. So for Fields, he should be aware of this, quite frankly. This is something you have to look for. You think about someone like Patrick Mahomes, the reason why he never gets blown up like this isn't because he's a better athlete than Fields. He isn't. It's because he does a better job of reading the stuff at the line. It's just something Fields is going to have to learn because watch what happens. Look, as you see, Fields is going to get completely crushed right here. It's unblocked, and it's something he probably should have read pre-snap and realized it was a possibility, so he was more prepared for something like that. Also, I plan on pausing it as opposed to playing it over and over again, just because Fields did get rocked. We don't need to show that 1,000 times, even if, he did end up being okay, but still, we don't need to show that. Also, it was kind of one of those weird penalties where Fields went down at the last second, so it didn't look like a dirty play to me by 59. I thought that he went too high for sure. It was reckless, but then it was a combination of Fields also went down a little bit. So just that was an unfortunate reason why he ended up getting banged up like that, I thought. There's also this one where this is a 4th down and goal right here, and that's important to note. This is a 4th down situation. And listen, it's possible that Matt Nagy told Fields, hey, treat this like it's a 3rd down and goal. Pretend like if nothing's open, throw the ball away. So if that is the case, then I will take back what I say here, but I don't believe that's the case. I don't have any reason to believe that's the case. I would assume you're treating it like any other 4th down and goal, and what's going to happen is that this is quarters coverage, I believe, and you see the route that has a chance of getting open here. Look, as you see, so the ball is snapped, and you notice that there's some separation. It's tough. This is a very difficult throw. Also, the ball is already out of Justin Fields' hands at this point. So this is a tough throw to make for sure. But this is not going to be a great throw whatsoever. To me, typically in this situation, on a 3rd down and goal, you might throw this one high and say, hey, if I overthrow it, it's no big deal. Incomplete, we kick the field goal. In this situation, it's 4th down and goal. You need to make this throw hit. But look, it's just way over his head. It's a missed throw. Again, I'm not saying it's the end of the world, but there's no way you can watch that and say it wasn't a missed throw. Clearly, that throw was too high. I want to bring up this play because this is the perfect example of exactly what I'm talking about. When people say, oh, Justin Fields' offensive line is going to give him trouble, well, he's actually giving his offensive line a lot of trouble. I think one of the things that the general public is probably the worst at understanding is when there's pressure or a sack, that's the quarterback's fault instead of the offensive line's fault. The only time people really seem to understand it is when it's like a 10-second play or something. Well, this wasn't that, but watch what happens. So, Fields takes the snap, and at this point, you look right here, this is fine protection. You can stand in the pocket. If you want to get outside the pocket, you probably should run around your right tackle. But what you shouldn't do is what Fields is going to do. He runs directly into his own offensive lineman, 62 right there. And it's like, how can you blame the offensive line for that? What are they supposed to do in that situation? Fields needs to be a bit smarter there, which again, he's learning, right? He's a rookie. We shouldn't expect him to have Tom Brady pocket navigational skills already. But some of the criticism for the offensive line I felt like was unfair, and I wanted to, be fair to those guys because I thought they got a little bit unfair criticism there. Now, I think the counter argument to this criticism is, okay, well, he can get out of so many of these situations. What does it really matter if he's occasionally getting put in a bad situation? And I think that is fair. His elusiveness is legit, and it looks better to me in the NFL than I've seen in college, quite frankly. So the fact that that is what it is, to me, is kind of, it can be a bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card. There was that play where there was a heavy blitz, but he scrambled back, eventually was able to throw the ball away. But I would rather a quarterback never be in that situation to begin with and just make a quick throw and gain yards instead of avoiding losing yards. That's all my point. And again, it's stuff I think he can get better at. And that's the good thing, is that all of my criticisms about him that I've seen in this game are all things he just needs to improve upon. So that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.